We're in the city of Cherry Valley out at the Edward Dean Museum, and I'm here with Kathy. Before we get into it, first of all, where's Cherry Valley in California?
Cherry Valley is off the 10 freeway, and we're between Yucaipa and Beaumont, close to Oakland.
In the county of Riverside, correct?
The county of Riverside.
All right, so tell us about the Edward Dean Museum.
So the Edward Dean Museum was started as a private museum by Edward Eberie and Dean Stout in 1950s, and then in 1964 it was donated to the county of Riverside, and it's been a county museum ever since.
Can you give us a little background about who Edward Dean was?
Edward Dean was Edward Eberie and Dean Stout, two men who owned an antiques company. So they were buyers and collectors, and then their collection became the nucleus of this museum.
So are these collections or these antiques from all over the world?
Yes, they are antiques from, we have things from Asia, Mesoamerica, Europe, America. And so it was just a vision to put things together as they were lived with in the 18th and 19th century. And they showed off their collection. They always kept it so that it would eventually become a museum. So right now you're looking at a room that would be similar to the types of room you would see in a manor house in the 18th and 19th century. It is a collection of different things. You notice that it doesn't all match. That was not the point. The point was to buy something that you liked and make it work together. And it was part entertainment, part education, and just part conversation. It was something that you would bring your friends together and you would talk about your art pieces. You can see there's things from different parts of Asia as well as things from Europe. This cabinet is from China as well. It was a gift. It was kind of part of a diplomatic overture from China to England. So,
wow.
It has a lot of history. Everything has a lot of history and a lot of stories to this, and I think that's what's really, that was the point of it,
yeah.
And that's the point now, for us to educate people in the place that art has always had in society. It's not a luxury. It's really an integral part of life, and so we really want people to feel that when they walk in.
What is this right here?
So this is a really interesting art piece. In Germany there was a style called Biedermeier style. They wanted things that were utilitarian. So it's a sewing kit, but when you close it, it's an orb, an art piece.
It's a sewing kit?
So it's an art piece. Yeah, you sit low and you can see in the reflection there what you're doing, because needlework had to be good on both sides. So you could sew and see what you were doing on the back.
The wood paneling in here.
The wood paneling is really unique. Done in the 1600s by Grenland Gibbons, one of the most famous woodworkers in England. He worked for the Kings of England. This came out of Castleberry Park in London.
Wow.
It was imported by William Randolph Hearst for his house in Santa Monica.
Oh my gosh.
And then Edward Eberie had a tie to him, so when the house was destroyed, the family contacted Eberie and he bought it for this room. It's really a great, the setting is perfect with this wood.
So what is this room?
So this room is modeled after a salon. Salons are really popular. One of the things that happened leading up to the French and American Revolution were salons were a place to discuss philosophies and ideas. So Benjamin Franklin made a big hit with the ladies in salons. Women were usually the hostess. So as you look around here, you can see, again, the idea of collecting as a means to elicit conversation.
What is this behind us?
This is a pianoforte. The only form of music you would have was the music you made. So you were very smart to invite someone who could play.
Let's go check out another room. I'm going this way, is that okay?
Yes. Well, this is a gallery room, the type of thing that you would have to show your ancestor portraits or family history. You can see we have a few. We have David by a student of Titian, and he's painted as David from the Bible, kind of in the Renaissance style of a classic hero. And then we have a piece, this is David Garrick, and it was painted by Joshua Reynolds. He was a famous actor.
1723?
Yes.
Wow.
Most of our material is from about 1500 to 1900. So it's very early, compared to today.
What is this right here?
So this is a really interesting chest. It is a combination of art and science, and it's really about collecting again, kind of the point of our museum. It's called a bull chest. When trade really got going in Europe, people collected specimens from all over the world, feathers, eggs, shells, and they started to study them. So this is called a cabinet of curiosities. And if you look at it, it has tortoiseshell, pewter. The inlay is really extraordinary. The Bull family were known for that.
Goodness, yeah.
And it's also religion, because their ideas of things were that a person was a combination of all different things. And it's beautiful.
I'm extremely curious about what's inside, if
nothing.
anything.
Yeah, nothing. There's nothing in there. But it would have been like skull of a squirrel to the feather from a rare bird to eggs that they thought were dinosaur eggs. Or it could be precious gems, it could be floral, fauna. It was just all types of things that they collected. We have a great musician, her name is Miriam Paul. She comes and plays piano for us on Fridays, but she also plays for our school tours.
Oh, nice.
So kids sit around here and she teaches them physics based on the piano, on sound. She teaches them songs, they play games. It's really great.
And the harp, does somebody play the harp as well?
It used to be played. It needs to be tuned, and it has a crack in it, so you can't really adjust it for tuning because of the fact that it will split the crack more.
Can I touch this?
You can touch that.
I can touch it
it's
because
out of tune, terribly out of tune.
Well, I don't know if I would know.
You would know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But it's a modern harp. It's meant to be used.
So what do we have here?
So that is a wedding costume from Japan. It's 20th century. It's very modern.
Okay.
But it's interesting because the colors mean longevity, good luck. The crane, the symbol of good luck as well. And so it's a unique wedding dress, something we don't see in the West.
Sure. This has an Asian vibe.
Yes, this is our room that we have the Asian art. One of the things that's really our treasure is the 12 panels. These panels are based on a poem.
Make sure you said it's
based on this poem. It was done by a Chinese artist in the 17th century. And it's interesting when you look at Asian art, they tilt the horizon up, not like in the West where we look into the horizon. Instead, they want to show all parts of the landscape. So you see it's done in this tall scroll-like format.
Yeah.
And poetry is very important. If you wanted to work for the government, you had to have knowledge of poetry. And so a lot of visual artists would combine poetry with images like this one. So these are just examples of sculpture. We have cast sculpture, we have carved sculpture. We talked about some of the materials. These are marble and cast bronze. And so over here we have some basalt and other cast bronze. And then Icarus is probably our popular sculpture. It's huge and it's heavy. But this shows people how you can take raw materials and make them into beautiful art pieces.
What am I looking outside these windows here?
So outside is our rose garden. We have heritage roses. They planted it again with keeping in mind, keeping things historical. We now also rent it out for weddings.
There's so much to see here in the museum. I mean, we've only taken you into a few segments. We don't want to take you into all the rooms. What are your hours of operation?
Our hours of operation are Thursday through Saturday from 10 to 5.
I'm gonna go out and check out the Rose Garden.
Excellent.
All right.
It's a nice day.
Continue to explore here at the Richard Dean Museum. Woo.